$241,000, y'all, is what the state of North Carolina says this man owed. May he rest in peace. That's his wife, Miss Penny. Now, Joseph worked for the state, did everything he was supposed to do. They said, we overpaid you that $241,000. That man went back to work at the age of 80, okay? And then if it's not bad enough, when he died, instead of giving Miss Penny the $10,000 that is due to him from the state to pay for his funeral, they take that from her. She's telling the funeral home, I can clean, I can do whatever, because she ain't got no money. Thank goodness the funeral home said no, and they did the funeral for free. I know there are 48 other people in the same situation in the state of North Carolina. Get you a attorney. Now, I know y'all said, how can they possibly come back all these years and collect that money? Well, North Carolina does have a 3-year limit, but it doesn't apply to the state, unfortunately. I feel so bad for this lady and for Mr. Joseph. May he rest in peace. They should not have to deal with this at their age.
She keeps reminders of her beloved husband, Joseph, everywhere, even in the place settings.
I would decorate it at Christmas.
The memories provide relief, an occasional smile.
I was with him for over 40 years.
Joe is with Penny still, only now he rests in an urn in the kitchen.
He was my best friend. He took care of me and he loved me. I don't want to cry on camera. This is difficult. This is difficult.
Difficult not only because of the loss, difficult because of how Penny and Glenn spent the last of their 40 years together.
I hope nobody don't never have to go through what I've been through.
Let's rewind to 1996. Joe retired. He worked for the city as a heavy machinery worker, doing the dirty work which kept Raleigh running.
I seen him in knee-deep or more water, cold ice water, repairing water mains.
For years, the Glenns received letter after letter from the state's Retirement Systems Division, telling them what their payout was and that it was accurate. Then in 2018, another letter, this one, shattered everything. It told the Glenns there'd been a mistake and that for 17 years, the state had overpaid them more than $241,000. And now Joe and Penny had to pay every cent back.
I read it to him. We looked at each other and we broke down and started crying. Both of us. He said, baby, what am I going to do? I can't pay back $240,000. I didn't even know that they were overpaying me.
You know, I wish I wasn't doing this interview.
State Treasurer Dale Falwell. Walk me through. Five on Your Side wanted to know how families could possibly know their payout was incorrect when they were reassured by the state that their payouts were correct.
Sure. That's a great point. But the dates that you mentioned are what we call pre-Dale, because I wasn't the treasurer then.
By pre-Dale, he means a previous administration when Treasurer Richard Moore was in office and the error occurred. Falwell said he had no choice but to go after the money. He told us the state retirement fund is worth $114 billion. And right now, 1 million North Carolinians are on the plan. To put that into perspective, the Glenn's debt is worth about 25 cents to every person on the plan. In other words, the $240,000 is a drop in the bucket for the state. But for the Glenns, it was everything.
I said, he won't never live to pay that back.
What did they say?
She said, well, we'll take it as long as we can.
And they did. Joe didn't hire a lawyer. He didn't look for a way out. The Glenns filed for bankruptcy.
Can you think of a man at 80 years old going back to work?
Joe Glenn in his 80s went to work to pay an impossible debt by delivering parts for O'Reilly Auto.
In so many instances, there will be tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on any one case that we cannot collect because, you know, the person is aged out.
They've died?
Yes.
For all of his effort, Joe managed to pay back $4,976.17 before dying in June of last year.
In loving memory
Joseph believed. But even in death, the state found a way to collect a little more. Joe's pension provided money for his funeral. It was $10,000. The state took that too, leaving Penny to pay for it herself.
Knowing that I'm not able to pay for it now because of somebody else's error, that breaks my heart.
This is the man who stitched it up.
It's about taking care of people.
Ramil Ferguson. He owns RM Ferguson Funeral Home. And when he heard the story, he donated the service. Why did you decide to help Penny?
I mean, she was willing to come here and sweep and mop, and I'll come clean up. What do you need? A woman at her age should be enjoying her years, not trying to worry about paying off a debt.
It was a show of grace and kindness that Joe never lived to see.
We loved each other.